Good afternoon. My name is Nyoka Lynn. So this morning, sitting in my chair, having my coffee. After meditation, I had something really strong on my heart. I witnessed something the other day, and I think my first response to it would have been one of, like, there was a gentleman that was sounding off. Now, I hate to admit it, but I'm going to be honest. At first I would think, like, seriously, dude, like, go home. But I felt him. I felt the anguish that he was experiencing. And I think it's because I witnessed something similar. I didn't act the way he did, but I could feel the sorrow and the frustration, big time frustration in his heart. So I guess the first thing I want to say about that is we should never just assume or judge what somebody might be going through. Because like I said, I was a little guilty of that over the first minute or two until I started feeling what he was feeling. Now, when I say he felt frustration, let me elaborate a little bit on that. Sometimes in life, we get used to a certain way of life, certain people, a job, whatever, and we resist change. Now, I say I felt him, and I could understand because I know when I wasn't able to hold down a job anymore, I was very frustrated, and I got a little depressed. It was a big change, and for a lot of reasons, I got fearful and frustrated, you know. But one of the constants in life is change. It's one of the universal laws that everything changes except the first laws. um, change is a definite, and I think it's really important that we learn how to cope and flow with change. I think one of the things in my life that's been a constant is me moving. And I've moved to different states, I've moved to different apartments, houses, whatever. I've moved a lot. And along the way, I had to weigh, what do I keep, what do I let go of, and what was most important at the time. Now, I could have chosen to just get disgusted and frustrated and depressed about the whole thing um, at any time, that I had to make a significant change, whether it even be in relationships. A relationship didn't pan out well, so I could have got bitter, I could have got disgusted and had no hope or whatever, or took it out on other people. I think that's one of my points here that I wanted to make is sometimes when we are suffering inside, sometimes we don't even realize it's us that's suffering. We tend to lash out at folks in numerous ways, whether it be just barking at them or trying to hurt them. There's all different ways that we can lash out. It's projecting your pain onto people. And a lot of folks do that. And then what happens is the folks that are being projected on, they don't always see where the true intent of this is coming from. And no, it's not acceptable behavior when someone lashes out and tries to hurt you or gets really belligerent in their behavior or their conversation. And I'm not excusing that. I'm not excusing that. I was kind of guilty of that for the first couple of minutes. But as I said, I felt his frustration. It's really difficult sometimes when you're so used to taking care of yourself, taking care of other people, to all of a sudden have that just taken from you, for whatever reason, whether it be medical or whatever. You know, it's a lot to get used to. But as I said, change is a constant in life. And we need to learn how to flow with change and to accept that change, you know. Now, I'm not saying that you have to change everything, but there are going to be some things in your life that are going to need to change. And there has to be an acceptance and a flow. It's a constant. It's a definite thing that things will change. I know a young lady right now going through what I call empty nest syndrome. And her kids were her everything. And now they're leaving. They're going to do their own lives, and rightly so. They're grown. She's having a really hard time with that, So now you got to step back and ask yourself, why am I suffering so with this change? What is so deeply rooted in me that it's hurting me to such a degree? So I think it's a good thing to step back and ask. I know what her situation is. She thinks she's losing them. She's not losing anybody. No, she's not losing them. That's one of her things in life, is abandonment. So I think if I were that young lady, I would definitely look at my situation with abandonment. Well, how would I look at that? Yes, it's a fact. I was abandoned when I was younger. Yes, it's a fact. I've had people abandon me along my way, along my journey. So yeah, so that means you have a frequency of abandonment. So it's going to keep going and going and going until you learn from it. Well, how would you learn from it? You got to learn to let go. Let go of things that need to go. As I've mentioned, we all come in with a theme. Maybe one of your themes was to be abandoned for whatever reason. You chose to experience that emotion, that feeling, that situation in life. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to grow from it? I think it's important to understand that everything that happens for us, not to us, is an opportunity to grow. Yes. Then you can have empathy on others. I think that's one of the main reasons why we shouldn't judge people. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know how they're projecting. But again, like I say, on the flip, if you're the one projecting, maybe you need to step back and examine that. I just wanted to share that today. I know change can be difficult. And it's easier for some than it is others. Others just flow with it. Others step back because they're unsure. And I think one of the reasons they wanted to be, not want to be unsure, but that they are unsure, is there's some fear behind there. Is this change going to benefit me? Is this just going to put me in a place where I was before? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But are you going to stop living? You can't stop living. Well, you can. That's not why you came here. You didn't come here to just incarnate and get your feelings hurt and stop living. You got to keep rolling with the flow. Yes. Well, that's all I'm going to say about that today. It's a beautiful day. It's an absolutely gorgeous day out there. I've already had my feet out in the grass. Sucked up some sun. Yeah. It's Friday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I hope you have a great weekend. My name is Nayoka Lynn. Don't resist change. Learn how to flow. Have a great day. Namaste.